Percy's Parcel. It was a beautiful day on the Island of Sodor. The sun was shining in a bright blue sky, and all the engines were very excited. There was to be a special party. It was Dowager Hatt's birthday. The Fat Controller arrived at Tidmouth Sheds. He had a special for Thomas.
Thomas, you are to collect passengers for the party from Brendam Docks.
Thomas was excited.
Yes, sir.
Percy hoped that the Fat Controller had a special for him. But he didn't.
Don't worry, Percy. I'm sure you'll have a special later.
But Percy still felt sad. Mavis rolled by and stopped. She could see Percy was unhappy.
What's wrong, Percy?
I don't have a special. Everybody else does.
Don't worry, Percy. I'm sure the Fat Controller will come back with a special just for you. And when he does, be sure to tell me all about it.
Just then, the Fat Controller did come back. Percy was surprised.
Percy, you have the most important special of all. You must collect my mother's special birthday parcel from Brendam Docks. Then you must deliver it to the birthday party at Knapford Station.
Percy beamed from buffer to buffer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Percy was excited. Mavis had been right. Percy puffed into Brendam Docks. He gasped. The parcel was the most special parcel he had ever seen. Percy was so proud his firebox fizzed.
I must show Mavis straight away. She'll be very proud of me.
Thomas was at Brendam. He was pleased for his friend.
Percy, you have the most important special of all.
I know. I'm going to show Mavis my special straight away.
But don't you have to go to Knapford Station?
Percy didn't want to listen to Thomas.
I have plenty of time to puff to Knapford. First, I will show Mavis my special.
So Percy set off for the quarry as quickly as he could puff. Percy steamed into the quarry. He looked for Mavis. Mavis was busy. Rocky was loading heavy crates onto trucks, and Mavis was shunting them. It was hard work.
Hello, Mavis.
Hello, Percy.
Look at my special.
I'm sorry, Percy. I can't stop now. I'm too busy.
Don't worry, Mavis. I'll wait.
Look out, Percy!
But it was too late.
Whoa!
Rocky dropped his heavy load of slate. Everyone was lost in a thick black cloud of slate dust. At last, the dust cleared. Mavis, Rocky and Percy were covered in thick grey dust. And so was Percy's special. Percy was upset.
Bubbling boilers. Look at the birthday parcel. What am I going to do?
Percy thought as hard as he could. At last, an idea flew into his funnel.
I'll go to the washdown. My special will be cleaned there as good as new.
Percy, shouldn't you go straight to the party at Knapford?
Percy didn't want to listen to Rocky.
I'll go to Knapford Station as soon as I've shown Mavis my special. I still have plenty of time.
So Percy steamed quickly away. Percy huffed and puffed to the washdown. James was already there having a polish.
My, Percy, whatever happened to you?
Percy felt very silly.
I'd like a very good wash, please.
The workmen got straight to work. Water and soapy bubbles sprayed everywhere. Soon Percy was gleaming green again, but his special looked terrible.
Bubbling boilers! The birthday parcel is wetter than wet. What am I going to do?
Percy thought as quickly as he could. At last, another idea flew into his funnel.
I'll take my special to the Sodor Steamworks. Victor will help me. His hot air blowers will dry the birthday parcel.
Percy, shouldn't you go straight to the party at Knapford?
Percy didn't want to listen to James.
I'll go to Knapford Station as soon as I've shown Mavis my special. I'm sure I still have plenty of time.
And Percy chuffed quickly away. Percy raced like the wind to the steamworks. Percy looked for Victor at the steamworks. He couldn't find him anywhere, but he did find a workman.
I'd like to be dried as quickly as you can, please.
The workman was happy to help. Hot air whooshed and whirred all over Percy and all over his special. Soon the workman had finished. Percy felt very pleased until he saw the birthday parcel.
Wobbling wheels! It's all crinkled and crumpled. What am I going to do?
Percy thought as hard as he could, but this time no ideas flew into his funnel at all. So Percy steamed sadly away. Percy clickety-clacked slowly along the track. Now he didn't want to show Mavis his special. He had spoiled Dowager Hatt's birthday parcel. He couldn't go to the party at Knapford now. Percy didn't want anyone to see him, so he chuffed into a siding to hide. He felt terrible. Then he heard Mavis and Edward chuff to the junction.
Hello, Mavis. You look happy.
I am. I've just picked up these brand new crates.
Suddenly, Percy stopped feeling sad and he started to listen very carefully.
Brand new crates?
Victor had just delivered them to the steamworks. I've never pulled brand new crates before. Goodbye, Edward.
A brand new crate is just what I need.
Percy pumped his pistons and puffed away to the steamworks.
Hello, Victor.
Hello, my friend. How can I help you?
I've just seen Mavis with brand new crates. May I have one, please?
Well, what for?
To put my birthday parcel in.
Well, of course you can, Percy.
That made Percy very happy.
Thank you, Victor.
Soon, a new bright red crate was sitting on Percy's flatbed.
This will be the grandest parcel the Fat Controller's mother has ever been given. I must hurry now. Everyone will be waiting. Thank you, Victor.
And Percy puffed proudly out of the steamworks. The Fat Controller and Dowager Hatt were waiting at Knapford Station. The Fat Controller was cross. Then Percy puffed in. The brand new bright red birthday parcel looked wonderful. Everyone cheered.
Happy birthday, Mom. Here's your very special birthday present.
Dowager Hatt beamed, and even the Fat Controller smiled. As the workman opened the crate, everyone wanted to see what the present was. Dowager Hatt was most excited of all. Then everyone gasped. It was a beautiful portrait of Dowager Hatt.
Oh, my Bertram! What a wonderful surprise! I'm very happy.
That's the most special I've ever seen, Percy.
Percy smiled from footplate to fender. He was sure he was the happiest engine of all. The early bird. On the island of Sodor, all of the engines on the Fat Controller's railway are busy. Gordon pulls the express. Percy delivers the mail, and Thomas puffs and chuffs cheerfully on his branch line. One morning, Thomas's fireman fanned his firebox ready for work. Thomas saw that his best friend Percy wasn't there.
Good morning, James. Have you seen Percy?
No, I have too much to do to see Percy.
Then the Fat Controller arrived.
Thomas, Percy has popped a piston. He has to go to the steamworks to be fixed. Percy won't be able to deliver the mail tomorrow morning. You must do it for him.
Thomas was excited. He had never delivered the mail before. He tooted his whistle loudly.
Yes, sir. I've always wanted to deliver the mail.
Make sure you do a good job, Thomas.
Of course I will, sir. Don't worry, sir.
Then Thomas puffed proudly away to his branch line. Thomas stopped at a crossing. Gordon was there.
Percy is being fixed. Tomorrow, I'm going to deliver the mail run for him.
Percy's mail run? Have you asked Percy how to do it?
Don't worry, Gordon. I know all about delivering the mail.
Do you indeed?
Then the gate opened and Thomas puffed quickly away. Thomas worked hard all day. That night, he went to see Percy at the steamworks. Percy didn't look happy.
Is your piston fixed, Percy?
No, it's still broken.
Don't worry. I'm going to do your mail run tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas. Shall I tell you what to do?
I know what to do, Percy. Now, I have to go to sleep. I shall be up very early.
Well, if you're sure, Thomas.
Very sure, Percy. I have to go back to Tidmouth now. I need lots of sleep. Goodbye.
Percy watched as Thomas chuffed away. The next morning, Thomas woke up very early. He felt very proud to be pulling the mail trucks. There wasn't a peep to be heard as Thomas chuffed across the island. Everyone was fast asleep. First, Thomas puffed to the quarry.
I must let the quarry manager know that the mail is here.
Thomas was excited. He blew his whistle very loudly. And then he chuffed cheerfully away. Thomas hadn't seen that his loud whistle had woken up Mavis.
Who's making that noise?
Next, Thomas chuffed to the docks.
I must let the dock manager know that the mail is here.
Thomas was excited. He blew his whistle even louder. And then he chuffed cheerfully away. What Thomas hadn't seen was that his good morning whistle had woken Cranky up.
Who woke me up?
This is fun.
Lastly, Thomas steamed into the steamworks.
I must let the steamworks manager know that the mail is here.
Thomas was so excited, he blew his whistle louder than ever.
Oh.
And then he huffed happily away. What Thomas hadn't seen was that he had woken Victor and Kevin up.
Oh, what's that noise, boss? Oh, who knows, Kevin? Who knows? Some early bird.
Thomas worked hard all morning. Everywhere Thomas went, he blew his whistle loudly.
Delivering the mail is fun.
Soon, Thomas had delivered all the mail. It was time for him to puff back to Tidmouth Sheds for a rest. As Thomas passed through the quarry, he saw Mavis. Her trucks were being loaded with slate. Then there was trouble. Mavis hadn't lined up her trucks under the hopper. Slate spilled everywhere.
That's strange. Mavis never makes mistakes.
What Thomas didn't see was that Mavis was fast asleep under the hopper. That's why she had put the trucks in the wrong place. Next, Thomas passed through the docks. Cranky was unloading some big crates from a ship. Then there was trouble. Cranky dropped the crates. They fell to the ground with a smash and a crash.
That's strange. Cranky never makes mistakes.
What Thomas didn't see was that Cranky had fallen fast asleep. That's why he had dropped the crates. Thomas pulled into Tidmouth Sheds. He wanted to tell Percy all about the mail delivery, but Percy wasn't there. The Fat Controller was there. He was cross.
Someone woke Mavis up too early by tooting too loudly on their whistle. Then someone woke up Cranky at the docks and Victor at the steamworks. Now they have all made silly mistakes.
Thomas knew he had woken everyone up with his cheerful whistle. He felt terrible.
I'm very sorry, sir. It was me.
Then, Thomas, as Percy is still not fixed, you must do a better job tomorrow.
I will, sir. I promise, sir.
Then Gordon arrived. He had heard all about Thomas's trouble with the mail run.
You were right, Gordon. Delivering the mail is a hard job. I should have asked Percy what to do. And this time, I will.
That evening, Thomas visited Percy at the steamworks. He asked him all about delivering the mail, and Percy told him all about being quiet. The next morning, Thomas set off early, pulling the mail truck. He stopped at the quarry. This time he didn't blow his whistle. He puffed very quietly so that he didn't wake Mavis. Next, Thomas stopped at the docks. He didn't blow his whistle here either. And he didn't wake Cranky up. Lastly, Thomas puffed into the steamworks. He dropped off the mail, and he didn't blow his whistle once. Victor stayed fast asleep. But Percy had woken up early to see his best friend Thomas.
Well done, Thomas. You did everything right.
Thank you, Percy. Now I know the most important thing about delivering the mail. You have to do it quietly.
Percy was so happy for his friend that he wanted to toot out loud. Then he looked at Thomas. Thomas had fallen fast asleep.
Sleep well, Thomas.
And Thomas snored the sleep of an engine who had done a very good job. Tickled Pink. James was the brightest red engine on the Island of Sodor. His bright red paint made him feel very proud, and it made him feel very special. One morning, James was about to puff out of Tidmouth's sheds. The Fat Controller arrived to see him.
James, you are to have a new coat of paint. You must puff straight to the steamworks.
James was pleased.
Thank you, sir. I will be the smartest engine on the whole island.
James whistled with pride. James puffed proudly into the steamworks. The workmen were waiting. First, they took off James's old coat of red paint. Then they applied a special pink paint. The pink paint was to go under the new red coat. It was to keep the water out. Soon James was covered from fender to firebox in bright pink paint. Just then the Fat Controller arrived.
My granddaughter is having her birthday party today. Emily was to pick her up at Mithwaite Station, but she has broken down. The other engines are busy. You must collect the children and take them to the party.
But, sir, I'm not ready.
You're quite ready enough, James. Leave right away. The party starts at tea time. You mustn't be late.
The Fat Controller left. James was upset.
Oh, no. Pink is a silly colour. I don't want anyone to see me looking silly.
James puffed up to a junction. Emily was there. She was waiting for the workmen.
Cinders and ashes. You're bright pink, James.
Emily laughed and laughed.
Oh, no. Everyone is going to laugh at me because I'm pink.
James didn't want to be laughed at. Then An idea flew into his funnel.
If I see any other engines on the way to the children, I'll hide.
James chuffed through the countryside. Ahead, he could see Toby puffing along the track.
I don't want Toby to see my pink paint. He'll think I'm silly. I'll hide under this tree until he's gone.
So James chuffed under the branches of a willow tree. Toby puffed slowly towards him. James kept as quiet as he could so that Toby wouldn't hear him. Suddenly, James heard a whistle he knew well. It was Gordon.
Clickety-clack, express on the track.
With a wheesh and a whoosh and a whistling wind, Gordon thundered down the express line. The branches of the tree blew up in the air. There was James in his bright pink paint. Toby stopped. He was surprised.
Fizzling fireboxes, James. You're a big pink engine.
James felt very silly. He didn't like being laughed at, so he steamed swiftly away. James puffed on towards Maithwaite.
I mustn't be late for the children.
Then James saw Diesel.
Oh no! It's Diesel! He's sure to laugh! I have to hide quickly.
James saw some trucks. They were piled high with coal. James puffed into the siding and hid behind the trucks.
Oh, this is a good hiding place.
Then Diesel oiled into the siding.
Fizzling fenders.
Diesel had to shunt the coal trucks. Diesel shunted away the trucks that James was hiding behind. So James puffed to the next trucks. Then Diesel shunted those away as well. Quickly, James rolled behind the last two trucks. Then Diesel shunted them away.
Oh no!
Diesel was surprised.
What are you doing, James? You're a big pink steamy!
James felt terrible. Being laughed at by Diesel was worst of all. So James chuffed quickly away. James knew he was getting late. He had to pick up the children before tea time.
I'll take a shortcut through this tunnel. That way, I'm sure to chuff to Maithwaite on time.
James puffed out of the tunnel. Then he heard a whistle.
It's Gordon. Oh no, I don't want Gordon to laugh at my silly pink paint. I have to hide.
So James reversed back into the tunnel and waited. Gordon pulled up to the tunnel. He could see steam.
Who's hiding in there? Express coming through. Come on out.
James didn't want to come out. He was sure Gordon would laugh at him. Then Thomas and Percy puffed up.
What's happening? Who's in there?
I don't know, but the express can't wait.
James knew the engines were waiting for him, and so were the children.
If I keep hiding, I'll be late to pick up the children, and they'll be late for their party.
So with a puff and a huff, James chuffed slowly out of the tunnel. He was very unhappy.
James, you're all pink. What a funny colour.
I'd hide too if I was bright pink.
James felt terrible. All the engines were laughing, but James knew what he had to do.
I feel very silly, but I can't let the children down.
James hurried to Maithwaite as fast as his pistons could pump. James saw Spencer at a junction. Spencer thought James looked very silly.
Oh dear, James. Bright pink really isn't your colour.
James didn't like this, but this time, even though he felt silly, he didn't hide.
I mustn't be late for the children.
Then James saw Henry passing by.
My word, you do look pink.
But James didn't hide. He felt silly, but he didn't stop.
Must collect the children. Must collect the children.
James puffed towards Maithwaite. He could see the children waiting.
I'm sure the children will laugh too. They will think I look very silly.
And he steamed sadly onto the station. James pulled into Maithwaite. The Fat Controller's granddaughter didn't laugh. And she didn't think James looked silly at all. She smiled. She was very excited and very happy.
James, you're a pink engine. Pink is my favourite colour.
James couldn't believe it.
Do you really like pink?
I love pink, and so do all my friends. Look! Pink is our favourite colour.
James was so happy it made his boiler bubble.
I'm a very lucky engine.
James puffed proudly into the town hall just in time for the party. The children laughed and clapped their hands. James, the bright pink engine, was the hero of the day. A blooming mess. It was a special day on the Island of Sodor. Knapford Station was going to be decorated. All the engines were very busy and very excited. The Fat Controller was at Tidmouth Sheds.
Knapford Station is being decorated. There are lots of jobs to do. Thomas, you must go to the quarry and collect slate for the new roof.
Yes, sir.
Emily, you must go to Maithwaite Station and collect the flowers for the new window boxes.
Flowers? How lovely! I know all about flowers. I know that buttercups are yellow.
Emily! And then take them to Knapford Station.
Yes, sir.
Emily huffed happily to Maithwaite Station. She passed Toby. Toby was delivering wood for Knapford's new floors.
Hello, Toby.
Hello, Emily.
Then Emily passed James. James was delivering pots of paint to paint Knapford's new walls.
Hello, James.
Good morning, Emily.
Emily puffed up to a junction. Mavis was on the bridge above.
Hello, Mavis.
But Mavis didn't say hello to Emily. Emily was surprised.
Mavis? Mavis! Hello?
Mavis still didn't say hello to Emily. Emily wondered what was wrong with Mavis.
I know what's wrong. Mavis must be feeling sad today.
At Maithwaite Station, Emily buffered up to the flatbed of flowers.
There are a lot of different flowers here, Emily.
Emily knew the names of all the flowers, but she didn't say a word. She was thinking about Mavis. She wanted to make Mavis happy. Then an idea flew into her funnel.
I'm sure flowers would make Mavis happy. I have lots of them. I can leave some of them at the quarry for Mavis.
So Emily didn't puff straight to Knapford Station with the flowers. She took the track to the quarry instead. Emily huffed happily into the quarry. She couldn't see Mavis anywhere.
I know. I'll decorate the quarry with flowers. That will make Mavis very happy when she comes back.
Emily looked for a place to put some flowers.
This is the perfect place. Mavis will see the flowers here as soon as she arrives.
Emily felt very pleased with herself.
Now, I must find somewhere else to put some more flowers.
Emily looked around. She didn't see Edward puff into the quarry behind her, but she did hear the loud crash.
Fizzling fireboxes. What was that?
Edward had crashed straight into the flatbed of flowers and rolled towards the hopper.
Edward, look out! Those flowers are going to make Mavis happy.
Pardon?
Edward was confused.
I'm sure flowers by the hopper would make Mavis happy. The hopper's so grey and dusty.
Emily felt even more pleased with herself.
Now, I must find somewhere else to put some more flowers.
Emily looked around. She didn't see Thomas reverse towards the hopper behind her, but she did hear the loud crash.
Bubbling boilers! What was that?
Cinders and ashes. Bust my buffers.
Watch out for the flowers! They're going to make Mavis happy!
At that moment, Mavis pulled into the quarry.
Whatever has happened?
Emily looked at Mavis. Mavis wasn't happy. She was very upset.
What has happened to my quarry? And what are those flowers doing here?
Emily gasped.
The flowers haven't made Mavis happy. The quarry is in a terrible mess. And it's all my fault.
Emily chuffed up to Mavis.
You didn't say hello today, so I thought you were sad. I brought the flowers because I wanted to make you happy.
Mavis sighed.
I wasn't sad. I didn't say hello because I was thinking about all the jobs I had to do today.
Emily felt very silly.
I wish I had asked if you were sad. Then I wouldn't have brought the flowers and the quarry wouldn't be in a terrible mess.
Mavis looked at the mess. She looked very sad. Emily wanted to think of a way to make Mavis happy, and now she knew she had to ask.
Mavis, what would make you happy? I would like the quarry to be tidy and all the engines to be really useful.
Emily felt very pleased she had asked Mavis. Now she knew exactly what to do to make Mavis happy.
I can't move. I'm covered in sleigh dust and my firebox has gone out.
Don't worry, Thomas. I'll shunt you over to the coal hopper. You'll soon be burning brightly again.
Thank you, Emily.
So Emily worked hard. She puffed and she huffed, and she heaved Thomas to the coal hopper. Then she biffed and she bashed the flower beds away from the hopper so that Edward could shunt his truck to be filled.
Now, the quarry is tidy again and all the engines are being really useful. Is there anything else that would make you happy? Yes. I want you to deliver the flowers to Knapford Station, where they should be. Right away, Mavis.
At last, Emily arrived at Knapford Station.
Here are the flowers for the new flower boxes.
Thank you, Emily.
Emily watched as the flowers were unloaded. They looked very pretty.
Did you know, Thomas, that those yellow flowers are called buttercups? And those red ones, Edward, are called roses. And those white ones are daisies.
Mavis puffed up. She was smiling.
My! You're smiling, Mavis. Are you happy? I am. Those flowers look wonderful.
And that made Emily happy too. Steamy Sodor. All the engines on Sodor like to be really useful. They huff and they puff to do their best for the Fat Controller's railway. And sometimes that means doing a job they have never done before. One morning, the Fat Controller had a new job for Thomas.
Victor has to go to the transfer yards. He has to see one of the little engines. He'll be away all day. You must look after the steamworks, Thomas. Victor will tell you all you need to know. Make sure you listen carefully.
Yes, sir.
Thomas was excited.
The Sodor Steamworks is one of my favourite places on the island. Today, I'm going to be in charge.
That's a very important job, Thomas. Good luck.
Thank you, Percy.
And Thomas puffed proudly away to the steamworks and his new job. Victor was waiting for Thomas at the steamworks. Thomas was very excited. His boiler bubbled and his firebox fizzed.
Hello, my friend. This is a big day for you. The steamworks will be very busy.
Not too busy for me, Victor. I like being busy.
That's good, my friend. Now, when an engine comes in, you have to listen carefully to the problem. If you need help, ask Kevin.
That's right, Thomas. When you're in a fix, look no further. Just ask Kevin. It'll save you bother.
Thank you, Kevin.
Are you listening, Thomas?
Yes, Victor.
But Thomas was too excited to listen. He wanted to get on with his very important job.
Don't worry, Victor. I know just what to do. Hurry, Victor. You'll be late for the little engines.
Very well, my friend. Good luck.
And Victor steamed away. Thomas was now in charge. Soon, Spencer steamed sulkily into the steamworks. His shiny silver paintwork was scratched and scuffed. Spencer was surprised to see Thomas.
Huh, where's Victor?
He's away today. I'm in charge.
Spencer was worried.
Oh my, Spencer. You are in a mess. I'll check you over from wheels to whistle. Put Spencer up on the hoist, please, Kevin.
Kevin was worried.
Are you sure, boss? I mean, Thomas, I don't think Spencer needs to go on the hoist. I mean, he needs a repaint, boss.
But Thomas wasn't listening to Kevin. He was too excited. He was in charge of the steamworks.
Put Spencer up on the hoist, Kevin.
Over here, Spencer. Please, if you don't mind. Please. Thank you.
So Spencer huffed huffily to the hoist. Then Henry chuffed in. Henry wasn't well. He spluttered and stuttered. He wheezed and sneezed. Henry was surprised to see Thomas.
What are you doing here, Thomas?
Victor is away today. I'm in charge.
Henry sighed. Then he wheezed. Then he sneezed.
Footplates and fenders. I know just what's wrong with you, Henry. You have been given the wrong coal.
Henry gasped.
No, Thomas, it's not my...
But Thomas wasn't listening.
Don't worry, Henry. We'll have you puffing proudly in no time. Kevin, bring over some of Henry's special coal, please.
But what about Spencer, boss?
But Thomas wasn't listening.
Quick as you can, Kevin.
So Kevin trundled to the coal. Spencer sat sniffily by the hoist. Henry spluttered and stuttered, and Thomas felt pleased and proud.
I like being in charge of the steamworks.
Then James steamed snootily in. Straw and twigs blocked his funnel.
Why are you here, Thomas?
Victor is away today. I'm in charge. Bubbling boilers. You are in a mess. What happened to you?
I can't puff properly.
I know just what you need. Kevin,
Yes, boss. I mean, Thomas.
James needs a new funnel.
No, I don't.
But Thomas wasn't listening to James.
But what about Henry's coal? And Spencer on the hoist.
Thomas wasn't listening to Kevin.
Find the spare funnel, please.
Kevin was now very confused. To find the funnel, he had to put down Henry's coal. But first, he had to raise Spencer on the hoist. It was all too much for Kevin.
Oh dear, boss! Thomas!
Don't worry, Kevin. I'm in charge.
Then there was trouble. Kevin reeled and rolled back towards the hoist. And with a biff and a bash, he hit a big green button. That made Spencer shudder into the air.
Trembling tracks, what's happening?
Kevin gasped.
Heaving hooks! Sorry, Spencer!
Then Kevin dropped Henry's coal right in front of Henry's nose.
Bust my boiler and crashing coals.
Kevin rocked and rolled into James.
Mind my shiny red paintwork!
James was so upset he blew the biggest puff of steam he had ever blown. All over Victor. Victor had just arrived from the transfer yards. Now he was covered from buffer to buffer in twig, soot and straw. Victor's wheels wobbled and his steam stuttered.
Sizzling Sodor! What has happened to my beautiful steamworks?
Thomas looked at Victor and then at the mess and the muddle.
Cinders and ashes. This is all my fault.
No, boss. Thomas, I'm sure it's my fault. I'm sorry, boss. I did try to say, boss.
No, Kevin. It's not your fault. I didn't listen to Victor. I didn't listen to you. And I didn't listen to my friends. I was too excited. And too silly.
I think, my friend, you are right. What will you do now?
I'm sorry to all of you. Now I'll listen to you, and I'll make sure you're all fixed properly.
So Victor and Thomas went first to Spencer.
I don't need checking from wheels to whistle. I need new paint for my scuffs and scratches.
This time Thomas listened.
Don't worry, Spencer. You'll be sparkling silver in no time.
That made Spencer very happy. Next, Victor and Thomas talked to Henry.
I have my special coal, but there's something wrong with my firebox. It makes me wheeze and sneeze.
Don't worry, Henry. Your firebox will be cleaned. You won't wheeze and sneeze anymore.
And Thomas was right.
Pumping pistons. No more wheezes and sneezes. That's much better.
Lastly, Victor and Thomas listened to James.
I don't need a new funnel. I need my old funnel cleaned and polished.
James, you will have the most perfectly polished funnel on Sodor.
James's funnel was shining like the sun. James smiled from fender to footplate. Soon, all the engines were fixed. They were ready to be really useful again.
Well done, my friend. Time to go home.
Not quite, Victor. It's time to say thank you to Kevin.
Anytime, boss. Thomas.
And everyone laughed and laughed and laughed. The biggest present of all. For all the engines on the island of Sodor, there are jobs to be done, visitors to meet, and friends to greet. One day, there was a very special friend to greet. Hero was coming back to Sodor. He was to help with the summer visitors. Thomas and Percy waited for him at Brendam Docks.
I'm so excited. My firebox is fizzing.
And my boiler is bubbling.
Hero, our special friend, is coming back to Sodor.
Hello, my good friends. I have missed you.
We missed you too, Hero.
The three engines tooted and hooted with happiness.
Welcome back, Hero. First, you must go to the steamworks. Victor will check your engine after your long journey.
Of course, sir. Every day, I want to be a really useful engine.
Then, you must go to Knapford Station. I will meet you there.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Hero puffed proudly away.
I want there to be a welcome party for Hero at Knapford. Percy, you must collect Lady Hatt and bring her to the party. Thomas, you must tell the engines to chuff quickly to Knapford for the party.
Then the Fat Controller left. Thomas and Percy were excited.
Oh my! A welcome party will make Hero very happy.
A welcome present would make Hero even happier.
That's a good idea. I must go now, Thomas. Lady Hatt will be waiting.
Then Thomas steamed slowly away.
I'm sure I'll find something special for Hero. I'll look as I puff around the island, telling my friends about the party.
Thomas clickety-clacked along the track.
Something special from Sodor for my new friend. I'll search the whole island from end to end.
Then an idea flew into Thomas's funnel.
I'm sure there'll be something special at Farmer McColl's farm.
So Thomas pumped his pistons and raced to Farmer McColl's farm. Emily was there. She was collecting straw.
Hero has come back. I'm finding a welcome present for him.
That's exciting. Good luck, Thomas.
Emily puffed away. Thomas didn't tell her about the party at Knapford. He was too busy looking for a welcome present. Thomas saw the big brown barn.
Perhaps Hero would like a barn. He could keep special things safe in a barn. But the barn is too big.
And Thomas steamed slowly away.
Something special from Sodor for my new friend. I'll search the whole island from end to end.
Then another idea flew into Thomas's funnel.
I'm sure there'll be something special at the quarry.
So Thomas huffed happily to the quarry. Mavis, James, Toby and Henry were there. They were busy shunting slate trucks.
Hero has come back. I'm finding a welcome present for him.
That's a wonderful idea, Thomas.
Henry, James and Toby chuffed away to shunt trucks. Thomas didn't tell them about the party at Knapford. Thomas looked all around the quarry, but all he could see was Sodor slate.
Slate is very special to Sodor, but slate is too small to be a present. I must look for something else.
So Thomas chuffed away.
Something special from Sodor for my new friend. I'll search the whole island from end to end.
Then Thomas gasped.
The steamworks. I'm sure there'll be something special there.
So Thomas chuffed cheerfully to the steamworks.
Hello, Kevin. I'm looking for a welcome present for Hero. It has to be something special.
Thomas saw an old bell.
I'm sure Hero would like a bell. Then everyone would hear him coming.
Good idea, Thomas. Good idea.
But when Kevin picked up the bell, it clanged and clanked. It rang and rattled.
Trembling tracks. That's too noisy.
Hero will soon be at Knapford to see the Fat Controller.
Bust my buffers. I must hurry.
Thomas raced out of the steamworks. He didn't tell Victor and Kevin about the party either. Thomas raced into Knapford Station. Hero was waiting, all alone. Thomas gasped.
Cinders and ashes. I haven't found a welcome present for Hero, and I haven't told anyone about the party. This won't make Hero happy.
Thomas felt terrible. Then his boiler bubbled and his wheels whirred.
Hello, Hero. Goodbye, Hero.
and Thomas steamed swiftly out of the station. Thomas puffed to Farmer McColl's.
Emily, chuff as fast as you can to Knapford. The Fat Controller is having a welcome party for Hero. Tell everyone you pass.
Thomas, I've had a marvellous idea for a special present for Hero. I'm sure he would like a bright, shiny dome. Victor must have one.
Thomas was stern.
Thank you, Emily. Now is not the time to find presents. You must hurry.
And Thomas chuffed quickly away. Mavis, Toby, James and Henry were still at the quarry.
You must all chuff to Knapford as fast as you can for Hero's welcome party.
Thomas, I think I know exactly what Hero would like as a special present. A new glowing lamp. That would be very special.
Thomas was firm.
Thank you, Henry. Now is not the time to find presents. You must hurry.
And Thomas pumped his pistons and puffed away.
Kevin, please tell all the engines to race to Knapford for Hero's party.
My friend, Kevin and I have been thinking, what about a new, shiny buffer for Hero?
I think Hero would find that very special. Don't you think so, boss? Thomas?
Thomas knew what he thought.
I think now is not the time to find presents. Thank you, but you must tell the engines to hurry, please.
And Thomas pumped his pistons and puffed away. Thomas clickety-clack down the track this way and that, telling his friends all about the party. Thomas puffed into Knapford Station. His face was red and his firebox glowed.
Thomas, where have you been? Hero's welcome party is almost over.
I'm sorry, sir. I was trying to find your welcome present, Hero. Something special from Sodor. But I couldn't find anything. I'm sorry.
Hero smiled.
Thomas, my friend, you must not worry. My welcome present is right here. Being with my friends is the biggest present of all. And the most special present from Sodor. There is nothing more special.
Then Thomas smiled and smiled. He knew Hero was right, and so did all his friends. Creaky Cranky. It was the spring holiday on Sodor. There was to be a party for the children at the Duke and Duchess's new summer house. All the engines were very excited and very busy. Thomas chuffed cheerfully into the docks. James and Henry were passing through.
Good morning, James. Good morning, Henry. Where are you puffing to?
I'm taking these straw bales to the summer house for the children to climb on.
I'm taking wood to make a stage for the children's show and barrels of lemonade to drink.
How wonderful. I'll see you later at the summer house. Good morning, Cranky.
What's good about it?
It's the Duke and Duchess's party day.
Party smarty. I don't go to parties. I'm stuck here loading and unloading all day. I haven't had a moment to rest my hook.
That load is for me. It's eggs for the children to paint. Hurry up, Cranky. You're Creaky Cranky. What's the matter? Are the eggs too heavy a load for you?
Cranky didn't like Thomas's joke. He didn't like being called Creaky.
No, they're not too heavy for me. They're light as fluff. You're not strong enough to pull anything heavier than fluff, Tiny Thomas. That's why Henry and James have the heavy loads.
Now Thomas didn't like Cranky's joke.
Fizzling fireboxes. I'm as strong as any other engine.
You're not as strong as me. I can lift much heavier loads than you could ever pull.
Thomas really didn't like that.
We'll see, Cranky. I have lots of time to deliver the eggs. First, I have to prove Cranky wrong. James has a heavy load. I'll go and find James.
So Thomas steamed sternly out of the docks. Thomas found James at the junction by the washdown.
Hello, James. I don't have a lot of jobs today. Shall I deliver your heavy load of wood and barrels for you? You can stay here at the washdown. Then you'll be perfectly polished for the party.
James thought this was a very good idea.
Thank you, Thomas.
So James was uncoupled from the heavy flatbed of wood, and Thomas was coupled up. The flatbed was heavy. Huffing and puffing, Thomas set off for the docks. Thomas chuffed back into the docks.
You again? What are you doing with that wood?
This flatbed is very heavy. I'm sure you can't lift it.
Cranky looked at the flatbed of wood and barrels.
I'm sure I can.
Cranky's hook swung low over the wood. Thomas watched and waited. With a creak and a crank and a crank and a creak, Cranky raised the flatbed into the air. Thomas's boiler buzzed.
Told you so.
You're still Creaky Cranky.
And you're still Tiny Thomas.
That made Thomas very cross.
I will prove Cranky wrong and still have time to deliver the eggs. I'm sure Henry had an even heavier load. I'll go and find Henry.
So Thomas steamed stormily away. Thomas found Henry waiting by the coal hopper for his special coal.
Hello, Henry. I don't have a lot of jobs today. Shall I deliver your heavy load of straw bales for you? Then you can wait here for your special coal.
Henry thought this was a very good idea.
Thank you, Thomas.
So Henry was uncoupled from the heavy flatbed of straw bales, and Thomas was coupled up. The flatbed was very heavy. Huffing and puffing, Thomas set off once more for the docks. Soon, Thomas puffed back into the docks.
You again? Now what are you doing with those straw bales?
This flatbed is very, very heavy. I'm sure you can't lift this.
Cranky looked at the flatbed of straw bales.
I'm sure I can.
Cranky's hook swung low over the straw. Thomas watched and waited. With a creak and a crank and a crank and a creak, Cranky raised a flatbed of straw into the air. Thomas's funnel fizzed.
Told you so.
You're still Creaky Cranky.
And you're still Tiny Thomas.
That made Thomas even crosser. More than ever, Thomas wanted to prove Creaky Cranky wrong. He had to find the heaviest thing he could. Then an idea flew into his funnel.
Lift me, Cranky.
Cranky looked at Thomas. He couldn't let Thomas win. Cranky's hook swung low over Thomas. Thomas hardly dared puff. With a creak and a crank and a crank and a creak, and very, very slowly, Cranky raised Thomas high into the air.
Bubbling boilers! Creaky Cranky is lifting me.
Then there was trouble. Cranky creaked louder than ever. His crane arm stuttered and judded. It creaked and it croaked. Then it cracked.
Oh, no.
Cranky's crane arm had broken, and it was all Thomas's fault. Thomas was stuck high in the sky and blowing in the breeze. Then the Fat Controller arrived.
Thomas! What are you doing up there?
I'm sorry, sir.
You are causing confusion and delay. The Duke and Duchess have no wood, straw bales or eggs. Now I see you have them all here. Cranky is broken, and you, Thomas, think it's a good time to try being a bird. The Duke and Duchess are waiting.
Thomas felt very silly. Then the Fat Controller looked at Cranky.
And you're as silly as Thomas.
Cranky crumpled.
The shame to be as silly as a Steamy.
Soon a workman had climbed up Cranky. Slowly and carefully, Thomas was lowered and landed with a jolt and a judder. Just as Spencer arrived.
Dear, oh dear, Thomas, what a mess. Little engines can get into very big trouble.
Thomas felt even sillier in front of Spencer, but he knew now that being strong was only good if you were also really useful, and he had to be really useful.
Spencer, I need your help.
You are very strong and can pull much heavier loads than me. Will you take the wood, the straw bales and the eggs to the summer house for me, please? It's my fault that Cranky is broken. I must put everything right as quickly as I can.
Very well.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Cranky. I know you're strong, stronger than me. I'll be back soon with the right parts to fix you.
Then Thomas pumped his pistons and puffed out of the docks. Thomas wheeshed like the wind, all the way to the steamworks.
Hello, Victor. Cranky creaked and now he's cracked. He needs new parts.
You've come to the right place, my friend. Parts are plenty here. We'll have Cranky up and lifting in no time.
Soon Thomas's flatbed was loaded with new parts for Cranky.
Thank you, Victor.
Of course, my friend. Give Cranky my best.
And Thomas huffed happily away. Thomas puffed into the docks with his heavy flatbed. Cranky was still looking crumpled.
Here you are, Cranky. We'll have you fixed in no time.
Thank you, Thomas. That's a heavy flatbed. You know, you're not tiny.
And you're not creaky.
Cranky laughed, and that made Thomas laugh too.